Welcome to part one of cooking pasta efficiently, where I'll teach you how to save energy, reduce water usage, and maybe even some time when you're cooking pasta. In this first part, I'm going to talk about the first method, pre-soaking. So at least 2 hours before cooking, submerge your pasta in water inside of a bowl or a pot. Use whatever temperature comes out of your tap, but room temperature or cool water will work. You want enough water to cover the pasta and maybe a bit extra so that if the pasta swells, they'll all stay under. This method is for dried pasta, and you might have to adjust your soaking time depending on the pasta type. You probably can go well past 2 hours. Even the cheapest store brand pasta, I've soaked it for 8 hours and it still works. After 2 hours, your pasta will look paler and be flexible to the touch. Pour all of this straight into the pot and top off with more water if not everything is submerged. However, it doesn't actually all need to be submerged because you can still stir it to get even cooking. Already, we're reducing the amount of water we need to use and later drain compared to the typical cooking instructions. Also, less water means less to heat up, so you have a faster cooking time. Bring this to a boil and make sure to stir occasionally. Notice I did not add salt because I'm going to use this pasta water later. Once it's reached a boil, depending on your pasta, it could be done cooking in a minute or two. You can test for doneness by taking out a piece, cooling it in cold water, and then taking a bite. So, this method significantly cuts down on active cooking time and reduces the amount of electricity or gas you use to run the stove. One of the benefits of pre soaking is you could actually skip this boiling in water part and just cook your pasta straight in sauce or the broth. If you want to go even faster, just add boiling water from a kettle or microwave water and pour it in. And after boiling, we have this really thick and starchy water. Don't toss it out yet. Follow to find out what you can do with it. Welcome to part two of cooking pasta efficiently, where I'll teach you how to save energy, reduce water usage, and maybe even some time while you cook pasta. So method two is passive heat. In part one, we learned about pre-soaking, but if you forgot to pre-soak, that's okay. You can still reduce your energy usage. So just like you can cook instant ramen by letting it sit in hot water, you can do the same with pasta. You can add your dry pasta in before bringing to a boil or after. If you add it in after, wait for the water to come back to a boil. When the water comes to a rigorous boil, make sure to put the lid over your pot and you can turn off the heat. The residual heat will cook the pasta. I usually leave it for around 7 minutes, but use the time on your pasta package as a guide. After waiting, you can test the pasta for doneness, and if it still needs more cooking time, cover the lid again and wait a few more minutes. That's it. Save the pasta water and follow for part 3 to find out what you can do with it. Welcome to the last part of cooking pasta efficiently, where I taught you how to save energy, reduce water usage, and maybe even save some time while cooking pasta. So if you watched part one, you'll have seen that I got this really thick, starchy, unsalted pasta water from pre-soaking the pasta and concentrating it by boiling in less water. I noticed that this congealed, and I just thought this looks like it could be turned into something. It looks like a cornstarch slurry. This is the amount of pasta water I had from cooking 7 ounces of pasta. I know it looks like a lot, but most of this is actually liquid. Still, I added a handful of frozen vegetables to this and a dash of salt. I oiled the pan and then I started to boil the water away. This works more efficiently if you have a wide pan area to spread and heat this batter up better. And I probably shouldn't have put so many frozen vegetables. As the water evaporates, the starch forms this crispy, caramelized layer, which you definitely want to scrape off and mix into your pancake. Add more oil to fry it if needed. When I tried this without the vegetables, I was left with a really small but yummy starch pancake that was chewy on the inside and deliciously crispy on the outside. I think green onions would have been a great addition. Listen to the crunch. You could even mix in an egg, and I think that there's so much more that you can do with this. You could dilute it a little and make it into something like a dumpling skirt. Or you can add soy sauce and some sugar for a vegetable stir fry slurry or sauce. If you want to make something more substantial with this, you can even add more flour and water and it will turn it into this chewy and crispy pancake batter. Either way, this is good stuff that you don't have to throw out.